Hello, this is Dinah Lane of the Harwich Channel, and I'm here with Michael Locke from the Harwich Conservation Trust, and he is with Eric Williams, who is the new Communications Director of the Trust. Very nice to meet you, Eric.
Well, nice to meet you, Dinah, and hello, Harwich. Here I am. It's very exciting. It's my second week on the job, and I'm coming up to speed, getting to work with Mike after sort of a long career at the Cape Cod Times, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about what you are looking forward to doing specifically with the Trust?
Well, during my career at the Cape Cod Times, I've written a lot about conservation projects. I've had a weekly column for quite a while, and often the subject of those columns was to visit these places and just walk around and extol the excitement and beauty and virtue of getting outside. And there's so many places on the Cape that offer that. And really, some of the gems are Harwich Conservation Trust properties. And so over the years, I've gotten to know Mike, done stories with him from way back, really. And when this opportunity came up, I thought to myself, could I be part of growing something like this? Sort of different than what I had been doing, which is like, yay, here I go. But the idea of like getting in there and pitching in seemed pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Well, it's exciting to have you aboard. And Mike, can you say a little bit about why it is you thought it would be great to have Eric with you as communications director?
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have Eric on the Harwich Conservation Trust team. And he just has a natural ability to connect folks to the natural world. And as he said, lift up all of the virtues and the excitement and the
Yes.
inspiration that we derive from our protected lands around us. It's really what creates our sense of place here. And so, we're just thrilled to have him on board.
That's great. Clearly, you have a lot of enthusiasm, along with your expertise.
Well, I moved to the Cape mid-90s. I show up in Wellfleet, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I discover the seashore.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that it existed, thousands of acres, and you're walking around through the woods on these little trails, and you never see a no trespassing sign, and you think, okay, the Outer Cape's got this. What does the rest of the Cape have? That sort of coincided with me starting in the world of newspapers. And so now the Cape was my oyster, so to speak. And somehow I convinced my editors that people want to read about this stuff. And it turned out that they did.
Okay.
So now I head out to everywhere I could think of from my Wellfleet perch and just start seeing all these cool little big properties with all these little differences and little treasures. And so I was hooked.
So
And
you've had a lot of experience in highlighting wonderful things on the Cape.
yeah, I
And
mean,
HCT and their work
It's-
is one of the wonderful things, for sure.
it's I think I went to Bell's Neck first. And so you drive in there, you go over the bridge, and you're just like, holy moly. Then you park, and there's that little bridge over the river, and I'm seeing herons. And it was just, and it's 200 plus acres. And then the new trail came in around the West Reservoir, and it was just so dandy. And that started my sort of deep dive into the Harwich world, which is still occurring. But I've been to so many wonderful properties and in doing stories with Mike over the years and his wonderful staff, our wonderful staff.
That's right. That's right.
Holy moly, I
Great
got to
crew.
get that right. It's just so exciting to think about like building more of it and preserving more, because that is the resonant sense of community, to have these kind of
Yes.
spaces for us now and people, our kids in the future.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, it's wonderful that you are so excited about it all and bring all that excitement
I can't help
to
it.
bear here. Excellent, excellent. So, Mike, you had a couple of other things you'd like to talk about this morning?
Sure. Yes, a great transition, Dinah, with some land preservation projects
Okay.
on tap right now that we're raising funds for,
Okay.
including a 6.3 acre project comprised of two parcels. You'll see a map soon in the Pleasant Bay watershed. And there it is, right there. See the
yeah.
two parcels circled there.
Right.
And you see the beautiful blue of Pleasant Bay, right? Pleasant Bay, shared by the towns of Harwich, Chatham, Orleans, and Brewster. And we know one of the best ways to protect the health of Pleasant Bay is to preserve land within the watershed. The watershed meaning the land around Pleasant Bay. So we know that development over the past several decades in that watershed has sent septic system nutrients heading through the groundwater, seeping in along the shore of Pleasant Bay and really impacting the health of that estuary. And estuaries are super important, not only for our own scenic enjoyment and recreational adventures, but also to all sorts of wildlife, including it can be the nursery grounds, the eelgrass within and the salt marshes bordering estuaries can be the nursery grounds for up to 2/3 of the juvenile fish of what later become our commercially and recreationally caught finfish. Think bluefish and stripers. And so estuaries are really a nursery ground for so much and
So
a
that's
destination.
over 6 acres.
6 acres.
Very nice.
$400,000 fundraising goal. Not bad
Yeah,
for
yeah.
6.3 upland
That's-
acres. When
That's
we
excellent.
when
yeah.
we look at building lots going for anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000 a piece, we're looking at 6.3 upland acres
Yeah,
for less than a single building lot.
fabulous.
And we have a challenge grant in effect.
Okay.
So $200,000 challenge grant. And if we match, so raise another 200,000, we'll reach the
You'll have it.
$400,000 goal.
The goal.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's exciting. We hope people will jump on board and join us to help preserve this land.
Yes, and I'm sure Eric will be telling us all about it.
I am ready to dive in because I don't know about you guys. Like I come down from Wellfleet, I'm going to Ocean State Job Lot, and I drive by Pleasant Bay, and it's just this moment of glory.
It's a jewel. It is.
So if we can help keep that thing rolling, I mean, that seems like a really good idea with a challenge grant.
Yep.
Come on, let's roll. Let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Okay,
Yeah, it's exciting.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we have another one.
and you have another as
Yes,
well, which
yes.
is the 50-acre project.
50-acre project. 50 acres, imagine that, right? It's the largest undeveloped, unprotected private property left in Harwich, and it's right there on the Cape Cod Rail Trail. Look at that. That's the red property there, 50 acres. And look at what it's surrounded by. It's surrounded off to the southwest by what Eric mentioned earlier, 200 acres of town-owned Bell's Neck conservation lands. Off to the west and northwest, another 80 acres around Sam Pond. That's protected by the trust and the town together. North of these 50 acres is another 33 acres of town land, and off to the south, another 30 plus acres of HCT protected land. This is in the middle. This is the epicenter there of all of that wonderful surrounding conservation land. It deserves to be protected, and we're grateful to be working with Ray Thatcher, who owns that land. Look at that. There it is. That's how that's the view from the Cape Cod Rail Trail bike path looking north across these 50 acres. So Ray and his dad before him have been farming these bogs, about 20 acres of bogs, about 30 acres of upland. And part of the arrangement is Ray will continue farming for the next 2 years as Harwich Conservation Trust studies ecological restoration design potential. Because as you know, we've been engaged in these really interesting, innovative eco-restoration designs, and including most recently the one completed at the Colebrook Preserve on Bank Street. So we're seeing the results now. You're going to see some before, during, after photos in a moment at Colebrook. So imagine what we can do at this Thatcher property eventually with eco-restoration, seeing the changes that we've witnessed at Colebrook. Look at this. This is one of those old rusting culverts. And then it was removed. Look at that in process there. A lot of activity during these eco-restoration projects. And then the after photo, beautiful walking bridge across Colebrook, which now flows freely for the first time in over a century on its way to Saquatucket Harbor on Nantucket Sound. Here's a before photo. There's the old retire bog there with some berms around it. And then the next photo becomes a pond and another pond connected by Colebrook meandering there. And then the after photo, that's just one growing season. one growing
Yeah.
season. And what's around this pond is a half-mile wheelchair accessible all-persons trail.
Fabulous.
So people of all physical abilities can get out there.
Right.
Here's the new map. Look at the 4 ponds, a mile of stream restored, over 44 acres of original
Beautiful.
wetland habitat restored, and trails throughout.
So we know it can be done.
We know it can be done,
Exactly,
Dinah. That's
exactly.
right. And you've been out there, Eric.
Well, I have to say, this is a mind blower. And if you haven't been down Bank Street to check this out as the weather warms up, please, you'll be blown away. I covered stories there with AmeriCorps trying to do cleanups out there, invasive species, bittersweet, the whole thing. And you'd be like, wow, this is a nice piece of property.
Yeah.
But as you just recently told me, a bit scruffy, a bit rough back then. But this project comes in and gives the land a chance to rewild. And
Yes.
it's a showpiece. The bridges themselves, the
Yeah,
ponds. I mean, right in the middle of Harwich, what a jewel.
It's
And
very inviting.
It is inviting, isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the exciting thing is going to be to watch as this land rewilds. And it's happened quickly.
Yeah.
Where the vegetation grows back up.
Right.
And
It sure
soon
has.
enough, we'll have the chance to watch it continue into this lush, wonderful,
Yes.
changing landscape that is such a gift to Harwich.
Right.
So
And-
super exciting. And I think the other thing that's cool about it is that as we get into some other projects that are similar,
Yes.
we can say, well, see, it kind of works here.
Exactly.
Go on over to
Exactly.
Colebrook and just say, oh, yeah, okay, this is doable.
So
Yes.
moving right along to the 50-acre project,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And so
Exactly,
right
exactly.
now,
Yeah,
you
That's
know,
great.
we're in the acquisition phase. We're
Yes.
still trying to raise the $3.5 million.
Okay.
So if folks are interested in joining the effort, they can donate online at our website,
Okay.
harwichconservationtrust.org.
Yes.
Or
Yep.
come on down to the office and see us. It's a wonderful project to be a part of and help
Yes.
support.
Yes.
So away we go.
Away we go.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with your able assistant here, communications director.
Well, we'll
Eric
see. I'm going to be
Williams.
pitching in the best I can, Dinah.
Okay.
I'm hoping for the best, and I'm going to work hard.
Well, very, very nice to meet you, Eric. And thank you, Michael, as always.
Thanks,
from the
Dinah.
Harwich Conservation Trust. This is Dinah Lane of the Harwich Channel. Thank you so much.